Hey everyone, Richard Phillips back at you finally with some more modern action. Been taking a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm here on quarantine and having a lot of fun with the new companion mechanic. Thought I'd maybe make a YouTube video to show you guys what I've been playing. I've been playing a few decks, so maybe we'll see a few videos here back to back to back. I'm in a recording mood right now. Maybe get these out, the next week or so, over the next week or so. Today I'm going to be playing Grixis Delver, and this deck has always been one of my favorites. I put out a video, if you want to check back in my history, of Grixis Delver in Modern a couple of years ago. And one of the new, or we get a couple new cards from the new set. We get Lurrus, the Dream Den, which is just like the perfect fit for this deck because it never played anything with CMC greater than 2 in it anyway. And we also get Sprite Dragon, which is just like a strict upgrade over some of the other cards that used to be played in this spot against a wide variety of decks. Maybe not against like Jund or something like that, but against almost every other type of deck. This card's a lot better. Previously in this spot, people were playing Young Pyromancer, Dreadheart Arcanist, or like all these Snapcaster Mages, which just kind of hurt your tempo plan and kind of made you a value deck. But Sprite Dragon is certainly a tempo card. Works really well with like the card Unearth. And so does Lurrus. Get a lot of fun stuff. There's a few versions of this deck that people have been playing around. One of the versions that I played a little bit of and I didn't really like was a version that was kind of reliant on the card Archmage's Charm. And post-board, you could like cut the Delvers and just become this like control deck. I didn't really like that. I thought that this deck was actually losing quite a few game 1s, and then game 2 and 3, if you really wanted to play like a control deck, like you shouldn't play Delver in the first place because it was losing the game 1s. It wasn't like it was surprising anyone with Delver of Secrets beatdowns. And then you were cutting them, so it just kind of seemed like a what are you doing type deal. One of the other issues that deck had is that it basically could never beat Burn in a million years. It was playing a little bit, it was playing like some Thought Seizes and stuff. I've cut the Thought Seizes, running a few less discard spells. We're running 3 Spell Snares, which is like one of my favorite cards against Burn. It's really, really solid. And the Force Negations obviously are very good. The goal of this deck basically is to get a Sprite Dragon or a Delver attacking and then force pretty much anything that the opponent is trying to do once you get like a head on board and then bolt them out at the very end. In the sideboard, we do have a little bit of like a grindy plan. We got the extra Kolaghan's Command and extra basic. So you can play 20 basics in the matchups where you want to be casting like Kolaghan's Commands and Snapcaster Kolaghan's Commands, stuff like that. Grivlob Advancers and Fatal Pushes for matchups like Humans where the Force Negations are going to be bad. We got Surgical Extractions and Nile Spellbombs, a nice split because Lurrus works well with Nile Spellbomb, Snapcaster works well with Surgical. Collective Brutality for the Burn matchup, and then a Flusterstorm for combo or like the Mirror or any deck that's going to play Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer could theoretically be a big problem for us. And, like trying to terminate something and then they protect it with Veil of Summer and then you have to Flusterstorm the Veil of Summer or something like that. Anything else I see? Oh, the mana base. Mana base here is a little interesting. It has to be reliant on black because of the double black in Lurrus, and that makes casting Seal of Fires and Lightning Bolts and stuff very awkward. You have to kind of do like a Dark Slick Shores into like fetch for Blood Crypt type deal. It's a little awkward. So this is something that definitely I'm working on and a little bit unsure of. We've got 8 fetches. They're all 4 blue. And then you can pick one of your shocks off of that. We do not play a basic mountain in this deck. There's a chance we should. We could play it over the 4th Dark Slick Shores. And I guess I have to make that decision right now. Maybe we do want that. Yeah, so let's add a mountain to the deck. And then hopefully I remember to update this. So let's see, we have a bunch of funny mountains. Yeah, let's just play a mountain in this deck. So this way we have that, and we can fetch it against Burn. So yeah, I think I like that. So 19, we have the fetches, Polluted Delta. Yeah, and then we can add up so we can play the 4th basic in an island. Yeah, let's try this. I think this will work well over the Dark Slick Shore. So we still have, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14 black sources. That's kind of low, isn't it? 14 black sources, so we have 5 non-black sources. I guess that we'll have to be okay with that. Because we have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to be okay with that. All right, we'll run into a league and see how this goes. All right, everyone, welcome to round number 1. We won the die roll, revealing Lurrus. We got 1 land, double bauble. I think we got to keep this hand. I mean, we're good with lands and spells off the top. Like, we can't... We're going to get 4, 5 looks at a red source. Right, so we'll get 1... or we get 1 plus 2 scries, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get 6 looks at a second land. So yeah, we'll definitely keep this then. So I think what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to... I guess there's not really a good way to sequence this. One of the ways that we could sequence this, if we see a land on top, is we can just hold these baubles for the Sprite Dragon next turn. Kind of like that. So let's see... So Delver on top, Polluted Delta second from the top. So if we bottom this Serum Visions and top this Polluted Delta, next turn we can go Sprite Dragon and then double bauble. And then that's going to be excellent. And then we'll crack them right away, hoping to draw. If the opponent's going to Thought Seize us, this plan kind of goes away. Yeah, all right. So we're not getting paid off here for these baubles, but we can use the baubles to hopefully... get the do the Delver trick, which will be interesting. If you're unsure of how that works, if you know the top card of your library... Oh, they took the Delver. That's weird. Okay, so they must have an answer for the Sprite Dragon. Huh. All right. Well, we're going to get black-red here, I believe, because that lets us cast Lurrus the next turn with any source. If we get Steam Vents here, then I guess it sets us up a little better if we can trip. But I think Blood Crypt's probably the right play. This leads me to believe that they might be a Death Shadow deck, and they might be trying to incentivize us to get in there with this Sprite Dragon. I don't know about that though, because if that's the case, they would have taken Opt then. I think maybe if we'll just bauble. Now we don't want to bauble them because then they get more looks if they Thought Seize us again. All right, we're going to get in there. This might not be right. So now we'll upkeep, bauble them to take a look at what they're drawing. Glimpse the Unthinkable. Oh, so it's a mill deck. Interesting. Huh. Well, that's not whatsoever what I expected. All right, well, I guess we'll keep baubling them. Interesting. So mill. All right. We'd like to draw Unearth, I guess. It's probably our best draw. We know they have a Glimpse. All right, there's a... All right, so we can play Lurrus this turn, or we can play Double Delver. I guess that's kind of close, isn't it? I guess we want to do Double Delver. It represents more damage. So yeah, I guess we'll do that. We'll do Delver, and then we can hold up Lightning Bolt. Because I doubt they have multiple removal spells. I mean, they're a mill deck. They're not a, not like a spot removal deck. Yeah, so they're just going to glimpse us, which I guess is fine. And then we need to decide if we want to bolt them here. And I guess we're not really in a rush to do so. So I guess we'll just untap. Force of Negation is a very nice draw. So we'll definitely flip the Force of Negation over. And then we're going to play the Lurrus, and that represents lethal next turn. Actually, we don't even need to do that. We can just pass. We don't need to play the Lurrus. But I guess there's not really a downside to doing this. This way we can still beat like a single removal spell. And we probably want to crack it in case we draw a blue card. All right, so they're going to draw Flooded Strand, which is not a big deal at all. Even if they have, like, Bridge here, they still can't beat us because they can't get empty enough. Yeah, perfect. All right, so up a game against Mill. Flusterstorm probably is good against Mill. Kolaghan's Command is probably good against Mill. Collective Brutality is probably good against Mill. Maybe not, actually, on the Collective Brutality, because we already have some hand disruption. We probably don't want just, like, random more ones. Cards that are bad. So, yeah, definitely the Kolaghan's Command, because they have artifacts and stuff like that. Unearth seems absurd against them. They're also probably going to bring in, like, Nile Spell Bombs and stuff like that, but I guess that's okay. The Seal of Fire is probably just not great. And on the play, maybe Inquisition isn't great either. Because they're going to play, like, Creature. Or maybe the Terminate. Yeah, we have bolts to kill their stuff. We're not going to need this Terminate, I don't think. Yeah. Alright, let's do that. I like the one Terminate in the deck. It's just like a catch-all main deck to anything. I tend... It's possible that's not the correct choice in that spot there, but I want, like, maybe like Drown in the Lock or something's a little bit better, but I wanted a card that could deal with any creature, and just the way that the Delver is kind of built, there's certain cards that you can't beat. Like, if a Prime Time resolves, you just, like, can't beat it. So I wanted to play something that could theoretically beat it. Alright, so Hedron Crab is a little bit of a disaster with the way that this hand was formed, but I mean, there wasn't really much we could have done about that. And I think we're supposed to bauble ourselves here and decide if we want to shuffle. So it's a Serum Visions on top. So I think we do actually want to shuffle, and we're going to want to get a red-black land, or a blue-black land here. So we'll shuffle, get blue-black, and then pass holding up Spell Snare here, which I think is more important than trying to Serum Visions here. Okay, and opt is actually perfect, so that way if they don't play a 2-mana spell, we can just opt. So, perfect. Alright, they are going to get to mill us here for a bit, which isn't ideal. Okay, so they're just going to play a tap land. We don't want another land. That's fine. That can go on the bottom. All right, Delver of Secrets is definitely at least a threat, which is good. So we can play that next turn. 2 Delvers. That probably is fine, because then we can force something and play multiple Delvers, and the opponent's going to have to really respect the fact that we can theoretically at least kill them very quickly. We'll get the Steam Vents here. Yes, this one we can get just a basic swamp if it's still in our deck at that time. Alright, so opponent does have to respect the fact that we can just, like, kill them. Alright, unfortunately they just milled over our other swamp, so if they actually Field of Ruin us here, it's just going to be a strip mine. Fortunately hopefully fortunately, we have an answer for this Legion's End. Unless they have, like... Okay. I was going to say, like, a... they're going to Visions of Beyond, which I believe is draw 3 for them. Looks like it. Alright, we need to flip here. We do not flip, which is a little unfortunate. So, no flip. We can use Serum Visions to make sure that we flip next turn, or we can just play Lurrus here. Or we can K-Command to kill one of these things and make our opponent discard. None of those lines seem particularly better than the others. Fortunately, we have that Blood Crypt in the deck still. I actually didn't even look, so I think we got a little lucky, honestly, that that card was still in there. Alright, we'll play this. We get a free Mishra's Bauble. And then we can use that bauble to look at the top of our own library and figure out whether or not we want to how we want to trigger our crabs. I'm assuming we're probably just dead here. Like, I can't really think of a situation that we're going to win this game. It's going to take us at least 2 attacks, and we're running really low on resources here. And our opponent's been milling us for, like, a lot. Like, we have 15 cards in the library, so the opponent's 5 cards in hand would have to all be basically blanks. It's like next turn we can play Snapcaster, Unearth, Sprite Dragon, and if we flip the Delver, that's theoretically a lot of damage, but... Yeah, this is exactly what we didn't want to see happen. Because we don't have another land, and they're going to get to mill for 6 more here. So that'll put us down to 9 cards in library. Yeah, and then that's just the rest of them. Okay. Good turn 4 win from the opponent. Multiple Hedron Crabs. I didn't want to bring in like Fatal Pushes and stuff like that in this matchup because I just didn't think that was the axis that we wanted to fight on. Because we have, like, K-Command kills them, Bolts kill them, but we just didn't have any in our opening hand, and they had 2. Spell Snare still seems good. Like, they were playing Legion's End and stuff like that. They also have the what's that card called? The Ball. It's like their main win condition is that it's the 2 mana artifact that they like put on the battlefield, and then every time a permanent untaps, you have to mill 1. It's like really good against us. All right, we can't keep that hand. This hand is very good. We can either Delver on turn 1 or Sprite Dragon turn 1. Hopefully they're on a... I guess we put back a land, right? And then we just go Watery Grave, Delver. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. So let's hope they're on like a Thoughtseize plan here, because Thoughtseize is fine against this hand, but not great. Fatal Push is a little bit better against this hand. But hopefully if we can put them on a quick clock with the Delver into Sprite Dragon, that'll be helpful. Because if like they Thoughtseize here, they probably have to take the Sprite Dragon. Oh no, they're just going with the Hedron Crab. Okay, so we're going to hopefully go on a beatdown plan then. Yeah, so Serum Vision's revealed. We could also Inquisition and Spell Snare something maybe. So I guess we need to decide right now how aggressive we want to be. So our lines are Inquisition the opponent, and then hold up Spell Snare for their turn 2 play. Or we could just Sprite Dragon this turn. And I think it's close. We could also Inquisition and see how good their hand is, and then we can Serum Visions if there's nothing to hit. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Oh, they're on a like a Jace's Phantasm type. So this is just we have 10 or more cards in our library, and we didn't bring in Fatal Pushes. So that's yeah. So I guess we're just gonna we're gonna take the Jace's Phantasm and rely on the Spell Snare. Yeah. All right. Our opponent did start off by shocking themselves, so they're a little bit lower on life than we are. All right, so interesting to note is why is the opponent not playing Lurrus in their deck? And I have no idea. Like, I'm trying to think. Maybe I'll ask them. I'll just be like, just curious. Why no Lurrus? And see if they respond, because I'm pretty sure, I guess bridges and stuff like that is like the only thing I can think of. All right, so they play Field of Ruin, which is fine. They don't have the mana to cast Glimpse unless they drew something here. All right, so we get milled a little bit, which is fine. All right, and then we will Spell Snare this. Oh, they actually milled our Steam Vents. That's actually potentially a big problem. So maybe we just let this resolve then, because we really want to get the Sprite Dragon down next turn. As funny as that is. So what does this do? This mills and Delirium. Delirium, it mills more. So maybe we just get tapped Blood Crypt here. Oh, so that was probably a punt. I didn't really think that one through, maybe. We could also be really greedy, and we could just go Island here. Nah, all right, we'll just play this tapped. I don't like this, but we really need to play... Wow, all right, and our Swamp also got milled. All right, so these mills have been a little bit unfortunate for our... Oh, we do have an Island in the deck, but it's just... Yeah, all right. We're just putting our opponent on a quick clock. Hopefully they don't find ways to All right, so they're going to mill us here. We will have to cash one of these in for our basic island, it looks like, because they have Glimpse the Unthinkable and Visions of Beyond. So if they blow one of these up, then we'll have... We still won't have 20 cards in our discard. Or in our thing. Okay, so they're going to blow that one up and give us our island. Oh, or we also have a mountain in the deck. Okay, forgot about that. Do we want the mountain? No, we probably want the island, right? Yeah, because they... Yeah, because they'll probably blow this one up next turn. All right. Island opt Flusterstorm. Interesting. All right, so they are just going to cycle that in to just draw one card. All right, so we know that their hand is Glimpse and Unknown. All right. Bauble is actually a very solid draw. So Bauble means that we get to trigger this, and now our opponent is going to be definitely on a 2-turn clock. So then we will take a look at what our opponent's going to be drawing, because then we can play around it. It's an island. All right. Play Serum Visions. And we have Spell Snare for their... Ooh. Alright. Maybe we don't have Spell Snare for their... So we should have... Yeah, we should have definitely used this land here for the Serum Visions. That's a little bit of a punt, I think, on our part. Alright. Well, we have exactly 20 cards in our library. Alright, so their Visions is going to work then. Huh. There's probably a few things we could have done a little bit differently there to play around exactly other second Visions of Beyond, and then also leave up this basic island for their Glimpse the Unthinkable or removal spell here. But we might get away with it, because we're lucky, I guess. All right, so we'll float blue there, and we'll go pick up red. All right. So we might get away with this. I do think in general this is a pretty good matchup. Like, Archive Trap us. All right, we'll see how many Archive Traps they got. Visions of Beyond again. Okay. They have to have 2 more Archive Traps. All right, we win. Whew. All right, cool. Round 2. All right, all welcome to round number 2. We'll reveal our companion. This hand is good. It would be a little bit better. Actually, this hand would be amazing if we were on the play, but, you know, we're not. Opponent is also not revealing a companion, and they're playing Tron. All right, well, the most popular flavor of Tron by a lot is Eldrazi. And our hand probably can't beat a Spells or a Chalice of the Void, because like even if we play Delver here, then we have to force a negation, probably pitching like a Delver or something. So I'm going to just hold up Spell Snare and hope that they play a 2-mana play here, because if they don't, we're gonna lose a little bit of tempo. But okay, so yeah, they're not gonna play it, of course. All right. Matter Reshaper, though, is definitely on the lower end of cards we care about, so that's at least a positive here. All right, now do we want to just jam multiple Delver of Secrets? At least we want to flip the Delver, so I guess I'm not too upset about it. But I think our gamble here did not pay off, and it might actually really cost us in the future. Do we need to get a Steam Vents here? So I probably should have fetched with this land. I probably should have just gotten Island, because I think our life total is going to matter in this matchup. So I think we're just going to get... Yeah, I think we're just going to get Island here, and then we'll hopefully use this a little bit later to get a tap land. I think that's going to be our plan here. And our opponent's probably going to play land and then Thought Not Seer us here. Oh, okay. They might just be going right up to Reality Smasher. No, Expedition map. Do we want to force the Expedition map? Probably not. Is this a Chalice now? Interesting. So they played around us having Spell Snare, which is kind of interesting. Huh. So either they drew that for the turn, or they were just being real smart and playing around Spell Snare. And I think it was probably just they drew that for the turn. All right, Blood Crypt on top is egregiously bad. So now we can either play Lurrus, or we can just Serum Visions to set up the Delver, and I think we probably want to do that, and then just play this Blood Crypt tapped. Unless we draw Kolaghan's Command's pretty sweet. Alright, we don't want Spell Snare, so we'll bottom that. We'll definitely top the Opt, and we'll play this tapped. Tapped. There we go. And then we will attack our opponent for 2, because we're not going to trade the 2 for the Matter Reshaper, because that's just a horrible... Yeah, this is bad in like all accounts. All right. So next turn we can... Okay, Blast Zone's really good here. Alright, so maybe we're going to just be playing Lurrus and then a Delver here. Or the opponent might not crack. Opponent's just going to go for Karn. Okay. Or Ballista for 2. Okay, I guess that does the same thing as Blast Zone, but is a little less good. I think. Okay. So they've blown up one. I guess they got to decide here if they're blowing up the other. No. Okay. They're not blowing up the other. Interesting. So we probably just want to play Lurrus and Delver here, because our opponent's letting us do that, which seems wrong. Like, I think our opponent played good cards, but I think our opponent did not sequence the way that they wanted to do this exactly correct, and it's leaving us like they should have just either popped the Ballista to kill both of them, or none of them. Like, this weird like only doing one just seemed wrong. So they can pop it now if they want to, but we're getting ahead here. Okay, they got the tech edge is fine. I mean, we're flooding out a little bit, so I'm not too upset about that. Chalice of the Void on 1. Okay, well, we have the Kolaghan's Command now, so that's pretty good. And I think they have to pop this Walking Ballista on this Delver here, or, you know, it could be pretty bad for them. Let's see. Delver of Secrets on top, of course. All right. So we're going to have to K-command the Chalice, so we can K-command the Chalice and shatter the Walking Ballista. In response, they'll blow up this Delver. Huh. And then we can cast Delver from the yard, Delver from the... Yeah, I guess we want to do that, because then we can play 2 Delvers this turn. It's like the only thing that lets us play 2 Delvers. So we will destroy target artifact, deal 2 damage to this. Oh, we can make our opponent discard, I guess. Well, then our opponent will just crack the Expedition map. They're going to crack the Expedition map this turn anyway, and then they'll just discard whatever card they get there from it. So that doesn't seem very good either. So we'll destroy target artifact, deal 2 damage to any target. So destroy target artifact, deal 2 damage to this Walking Ballista. So that way they can't pump the Ballista next turn. We'll go red and black. Yeah. So we'll do this. Opponent will shoot this Delver here. Because we needed to at least pop this chalice. So we definitely needed to deal... Yeah. All right. So that's fine. This happens. And then we will cast 2 Delvers. So we'll get our steam vents here. Yes, we'll cast... This does play into the blast zone really bad, but then I guess our opponent's not doing anything else with their next turn. And then we can just play him again. So that's probably fine. And, like, if the opponent attacks with Matter Reshaper, then we get to attack with the Lurrus, which is, like, a big win for us. Alright, we could have closed this window. Sorry about that. I don't know why that was still open. So this is, obviously, yes, playing into our opponent's blast zone. But at the same time, if the opponent would have to spend pretty much their entire turn blast zoning, and they are behind on the board with this Matter Reshaper. Like, they hit us for 3, we hit them for 3. They're not able to get Tron this turn. Alright, so we know that they had that tower and they played it. So they can go 1, 2, 3, and then they'll have 3 mana up. So I guess they can play another Matter Reshaper. They could just hope that they could just, like, try to play something and try to beat these Delvers on board, but that doesn't seem like a winning line either. They could play a Walking Ballista for 3, which is pretty good. It could kill the Lurrus and a Delver. If they play Karn, they have 2 mana left over, which is not enough to get Bridge. So they could just die if we find a removal spell or a bolt. Actually, we only have 1 removal spell that's not a bolt. Oh, we have 2 removal spells that isn't a bolt. So this is definitely a tough spot for the opponent. We're going to get 3 looks at that removal spell if they try to just play to the board. If they plan on blowing up Blast Zone, they're not really gaining anything on board. Like, they could blow up one of our lands. They could get rid of Steam Vents and blow up our land, or blow up all of our creatures. But then we can just kind of use Lurrus to rebuild them. Definitely a tough spot here. Very interesting. We have a bunch of good cards off the top. So when this dies, it's 3 or less, right? Yeah, okay. I know in this deck that when you blow up a Matter Reshaper, it almost never replaces itself for a permanent, because all they play is Matter Reshapers that and, like, Mind Stones and Expedition maps and, like, you know, Chalice of the Void, Walking Ballista and stuff like that. But obviously Chalice of the Void and Walking Ballista are horrible on 0 for the most part. You just put them in your hand. So it's not going to, or it almost is unlikely to, you know, end up in another. All right, so they do play Karn. Okay. So they're going to go for the We Brick line, is what it looks like. I guess they could also just get a Walking Ballista for 1 here. But that doesn't seem very good because they're going to lose the Karn. So I think that's, like, the worst line of all of the ones that I've seen so far would be to Karn, Walking Ballista. Like, they should have just done the Blast Zone. Okay. So they got to kill my Insectile Aberration. Basilisk Collar. Okay. So this gives it Death Touch and Lifelink, right? Alright, so they're... And equip is 2. Alright. So do we want to opt upkeep? I think we want to draw... Oof. So opting upkeep, could we hit anything that would make it 100% that we would draw? No, I don't think so. There's nothing in our deck that we could up. Okay, so what we can do is we can not reveal this card. So we're going to say no on this. Then we can opt and put that on the bottom, because we don't want to draw this. Watery Grave is horrible also. Okay. Scalding Tarn. Alright, that's not the best luck there. So now we can kill the Karn. And we can offer a trade with the opponent with the Lurrus so that the Basilisk Collar is worse. But that just seems bad also. So we're going to just kill the Karn, I think. Man, that was a really unfortunate land clumping. So I'm going to play this Scalding Tarn again. And then we can do the same thing we did the last turn, except instead of opt, we can use the Scalding Tarn. So we'll reveal the top card, and if it's a spell that's bad, we can flip the Delvers and then shuffle. Or if it's not a spell, we can shuffle and then flip. All right, so they must have Reality Smasher. Okay, so they're going to go up to 17 here by equipping the Basilisk Collar. Has Death Touch and Lifelink. All right. And tramples. Death Touch Trample is rough because they just have to put 1 point of damage on whatever the creature is. So if we chump block the Matter Reshaper, then we can theoretically block this Reality Smasher again next turn, as well as the Reality Smasher to not die. So if they go to 17, 3, 6, 9, 12, we would need... Yeah, we would need like an incredible series of draws to win this, so it's probably fine to just block here. But I think we bricked that one turn, and that was about it. All right, so let's see what the card is, and if we don't want it, we can fetch. But if we fetch, then we're in a lot of trouble. So Lightning Bolt, so we would like to reveal that card. So that would do 3, 6, and then we could play the Delver to block the Matter Reshaper again. So do we want to draw this bolt? I think we do. That represents enough reach. So then we play this Delver. And then we attack the opponent. All right, opponent's down to 8. So now our opponent's going to need to blow up this Blast Zone main phase. And then we can bolt the Matter Reshaper to not die. All right. This is getting interesting for sure. All right, the opponent's just going to let us go to combat, which seems wrong because they should have blown up the Blast Zone first. Maybe they don't know. I'm gonna hope that the opponent just doesn't know how Blast Zone works. So this is 3, 6, 9. So another bolt off the top would be lethal if the opponent doesn't blow up the Blast Zone. Our opponent has Tron. Another Karn. Okay, so this, I think, is just going to get Ballista and kill us. Yeah, this is just going to get Ballista and kill us. All right. So we tried. Let's see. Yeah, all right. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. Cool. All right. So we unfortunately bricked that one turn. So they could just go. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. And that kills us. All right. So in this matchup, we want this Kolaghan's Command. The bolts are pretty bad. They're good at like racing our opponent, but that's about it. Seal of Fire is pretty bad, and the bolts are not great. So I think we'll maybe cut 2 of them. Flusterstorm's bad. The Force Negation gets rid of the Karns, gets rid of the other things. Is probably fine. The Fatal Push has some text, like it's good against Thought-Knot Seer, so maybe we just want to bring one of them in, and maybe an island, just so that we don't like get too mana screwed, because we're bringing in the other K command, and we cut these 3. It's not a great plan, honestly, against this matchup. I wasn't really expecting this matchup. And I thought we would win game 1. Like, we probably should have won that game. All we needed was, like, any sequence of flipped cards or any, yeah. Like, it just, like, even, like, an opt there. If we would have revealed an opt with, honestly, either of the two. So we revealed a card, and then we shuffled and revealed another card, and they were both lands. If one of them was an opt, we probably win that game. We could have dealt 3 more damage that one turn, and had more action. Like we could have went and found an answer for the Basilisk Collar or something similar, you know. All right. Play first, Lurrus. Yeah, this is a Delver into Spell Snare hand, so we'll keep it. Sounds good. It's not like an amazing hand, but it's certainly fine, so do that. There's no reason to... We don't even know what land we want to get exactly off of this. It's probably going to be Blood Crypt, because we currently can't cast this Terminate. But we will see. Be wonderful if this Delver could flip here. Okay, opponent's going to go map. That's fine. Lightning Bolt is a good card to flip. So we will play this and attack. Holding up Spell Snare and also Opt and also Bolt. We definitely are going to want to Opt here end of turn. I think regardless, so we're probably going to get blue-black with this land. Flipping the Delver there is very nice. Like now, the number of cards the opponent can play that kills this is a lot lower. Alright, so we'll Opt. See, if the opponent has like a Dismember or something like that, that's fine. Spatial Contortion it. Yeah, so we will Spell Snare the Spatial Contortion. Perfect. Alright, so we're going to get blue-black then. And yes, we'll top this. Cool. So now we have a red source. And Bauble, perfect. So we'll get the red source, and then we'll play Lurrus. Awesome. So we'll get red, Blood Crypt, play Lurrus. All right, we'll Bauble the opponent. Matter Reshaper is revealed. That's fine. Matter Reshaper doesn't really matter. We probably want to draw both cards now. Like getting some information out of the opponent is certainly not nothing, but at the same time, this gives us an extra draw at finding a Force of Negation or something like that if we need it. Okay. Wow. All right, so we're a little overloaded on red spells now, but that's good because we should be able to close the game very quickly. So, like, sure, this is just one turn a little too late on the Relic. Like, yeah, I mean, if you want to spend a couple of mana here on that, that's fine. Thought-Knot Seer, all right. They probably have to take the Terminate. They might just concede here. I mean, they most likely can't beat this hand. There's certainly cards or, you know, things that could beat this hand, but it's pretty hard, honestly. Actually, we can just even Fatal Push it because we get to bring back this Mishra's Bauble. They took the Terminate. Yeah, we get the Mishra's Bauble, so we don't even have to use our red land. Yeah, our opponent just concedes perfect. So we would go cast Sprite Dragon, Mishra's Bauble, Fatal Push. That's 3, 6, 9 damage, and then we still have 2 bolts in hand. So our opponent would be down to 5, and even if they answered our board, they'd be dead to double bolt. And we'd be drawing... Yeah, we'd even draw another red land there. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, I mean, the one push there seemed fine. The bolts seemed a little less fine. The Unearth is, you know, I mean, they're playing like Spatial Contortion and stuff like that. It's like certainly not at its best in this matchup, but it's probably fine. So we'll keep it in. We'll just submit like this. I wish we had Ceremonious Rejections. I was planning on playing a couple of them in the board, and then I realized that we probably needed something more than just 2 Nile Spell Bombs. So I put in the 2 Surgical Extractions over the 2 Ceremonious Rejections, which would be like ideal in this matchup. So we'll see how badly we get dumpstered in game 3 here. Yeah, Spell Snare, Delver, Force Negation, Unearth. Yeah, we'll keep this. Opponent also kept 7. Interesting. All right. Wonder if the opponent is on a Chalice hand or not. We probably just kind of have to play these Delvers because we're on the draw here, and they've been playing around Spell Snare all match. So I think we just got to jam into it here. I wish we could pitch the Unearth, but obviously we can't. Oh, this is a Dismember? Yeah, sure. Cool. All right, we got Dismembered. It's fine. A Delver of Secrets taking 4 life is probably a little better than average anyway. And also taking a card is pretty solid. All right. Did not know the deck played Radiant Fountain, but that's good to know. Here comes the Chalice. And we probably just have to force it, which is, you know, a little unfortunate, but that's where we're at. Sprite Dragon. All right, so we need to figure out whether or not we want to Sprite Dragon or Delver here. And we probably just want a Sprite Dragon. So we'll fetch out our black source now, because we're definitely going to want a black source. And this will reduce our chances, I guess, of drawing it again next turn. Or another land next turn, because we definitely don't want to draw more lands. There's, I mean, I might have sequenced that wrong, but yeah. So I wanted to get the Sprite Dragon down first, because the Unearth will make it bigger. Getting down multiple Delvers is nice, but this is something that the opponent's going to have to respond to. All right, Matter Reshaper's fine. Opt or something would be perfect here. Swamp. All right. So we're going to go Spire Bluff Canal, Unearth this Delver, play a Delver, and attack, and just hope that the opponent can't beat our Air Force. So, like, now if our opponent finds another Chalice, oh, that's... Blast Zone's pretty good. I mean, they got to take their whole turn to use the Blast Zone, though, so maybe it's not as good. Puts them back a whole turn. Yeah, I guess this could be worse. The Tech Edge is not active yet. Sprite Dragon's already gotten in for 3 damage here. Spatial Contortion, the Sprite Dragon. Okay. So they're setting up for a better Blast Zone next turn. Interesting. They're trying to figure out whether or not they want to trade 3 damage for a possible 2. Obviously, we're not blocking this here, so... See? Come on, flip. Sprite Dragon. That's not great. Alright, so now we need to figure out whether or not we want to play our Lurrus here, or if we want to play Sprite Dragon. We probably just want to play Lurrus. Because then next turn we can play 2 Sprite Dragons, which seems good. See if they have another, like, Spatial Contortion or something here. If they do, I mean, then they're getting real low on cards, and they're down to just 1 card in hand. And the Delvers will eventually outpace this Matter Reshaper. But that's unfortunate. We've had a couple of turns in this matchup where we were really reliant on flipping... Oh, okay. Sure. We're really reliant on flipping a Delver of Secrets, and we just couldn't get there, which kind of sucks. Alright, the opponent has 4 mana and 2 cards in hand, which is... I mean, we're on turn 5, and that's, like, really not scary. Another Matter Reshaper is also not scary. They can attack with 1. But, yeah. Alright. See what we reveal. Serum Visions. Oh, that's, like, perfect. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I love it. Alright. So we get to go Sprite Dragon from the yard into Serum Visions. Which is... Oh, wait, no, we don't. So we have to choose whether or not we want to cast Serum Visions or Sprite Dragon this turn. Probably just want to cast Sprite Dragon from the yard. Yeah, because that actually puts our opponent on a clock here. With Lurrus here, we can beat a Reality Smasher off the top. Yeah, all right. So the opponent spends the whole turn blowing up the Blast Zone. That's fine. I think that's what they're going to have to do, actually, is just spend the whole turn blowing up the Blast Zone. So we can Serum Visions or we can Sprite Dragon. I think we want to Serum Visions because this will let us play a Delver post-combat. This also means that we have live kills, like a Bolt here is lethal. Another Serum Visions opt on top. Interesting. All right. So we will bottom these. We can just Delver here. Or we can just Serum Visions here. So, I guess let's think about this. So if our opponent has to blow up Blast Zone, I believe, here. And then if they have Eldrazi Temple, then they will attack us for 11, and we can block 3, gain 3. Yeah, so we're still alive with the Lurrus. So I think we just want to Serum Visions again then. Because this will kill them in 2 turns with this Sprite Dragon no matter what, and there's more upside. Yeah, so like exactly this. A little more upside. So we will bottom and bottom, I guess. And then we will go to combat. Attack with all these. The opponent has to blow up the Blast Zone here. And then we can just play a Delver. Yeah, okay, so the Blast Zone gets blown up. Sure. Opponent does know how that card works. It's good. Takes our opponent down to 3. And then we can play another Delver off the top. So then we'll have multiple, hopefully, threats to win the game next turn. And we can still beat a Reality Smasher off the top. Cool. All right. Woo! Tempo. All right. A little hazy there with the Delver no flip, and the Sprite Dragons did get there. So like revealing Sprite Dragons made the Sprite Dragons look really bad, but this card is really good and can just kind of win on its own. Like this is better than a flip Delver for the most part because it's hasty. And it deals, as much damage, if not more, that a Delver would, unless it's exactly turn 1. A turn 1 Delver is still pretty solid. All right, round 3. All right, welcome round 3 on the draw. I think we're on the draw last game, so on one of the 3 die rolls so far. What does this hand do? This is definitely the most land-heavy hand that we've had so far. It's opponent's on a Lurrus deck also, so mulliganing is bad. Yeah, let's just keep it. Yeah, I tend not to like to mulligan against other Lurrus decks, so we'll keep it. The opponent is on a mulligan, so if the opponent's like thought seizing and stuff, like yeah, I mean they can take our Inquisition, take our K command, but I generally don't like mulliganing. Yeah. Against other Lurrus decks. Yeah, so like Snapcaster Mage is perfect. That's like the kind of card that we really get advantage of because we're playing a Lurrus deck that plays cards like Snapcaster Mage and our opponent is not. This is going to get a black land so that we can swamp. Sure. So now they have to take the Snapcaster Mage. I guess, I mean, they could take the Kolaghan's Command, but Snap Kolaghan's Command is better than just regular Kolaghan's Command. Okay. Spell Snare is a really good draw. All right. Spell Snare is excellent for the most part against these like Jund Lurrus decks because they all play like Tarmogoyfs and stuff like that. Things that we can't kill with Bolt. So Spell Snare does a really good job handling those things. And if the opponent plays Lurrus here, then we just get to pop it with the Seal of Fire, which is nice. We can Snapcaster Mage next turn. All right, so they're going to Inquisition us and take the Snapcaster Mage, which is fine. I mean, they're just emptying their hand, and they started out down a card, so I'm not upset about this in the slightest. If we draw like a bauble here, would be perfect. So we'll get Watery Grave. Another Spell Snare. All right. Well, see, now the Spell Snares get a little bit worse when the opponent knows about them. But yeah, I'm not gonna pop our opponent here. There's a chance that they're on Death Shadow, so I don't want to just like pop the Seal of Fire and then play Lurrus and do that. It's certainly a way to like put a clock on an opponent, but I don't think it's very good here. There's a chance the opponent's going to try to just overload these Spell Snares. So like, yeah, they're going to play a dude here and then play another dude, and we're just going to Spell Snare them both because I guess they're not even going to try to overload it. They're just going to, okay. All right, we drew a Scalding Tarn, which is, I guess, semi-acceptable. It makes our unearths and stuff like that a little bit better because we can unearth Snapcaster for Kolaghan's Command at some point. Another spell, yeah, so I guess we'll just Spell Snare this one also, like, sure. We're really close to Lurrus into Snapcaster into, like, Inquisition or something like that, which would be pretty perfect. We can actually do that this next turn. All right, we want to get, I guess, another black source or another blue source. Yeah, I guess we'll just get another blue source. That's fine. All right, there's a bolt. So do we want to make that play? Do we want to Snapcaster? Our opponent probably has like a Fatal Push or something like that, right? So I guess we'll just save it then. We'll save our Lurrus still. We have a good answer for our opponent's Lurrus. Hex Drinker, okay. So we'll wait until our opponent levels that up, yeah, and then we'll pop it. All right, so, oh wait, no, we're not going to pop it yet, right? It's 3, yeah, all right, so we'll wait one more. All right, so now we'll just pop it. All right, so now we can either Sprite Dragon and just start attacking our opponent, or we can Lurrus and do stuff. But I think we probably just want to Sprite Dragon, because if the opponent deals with it, we can just play it again. So I think I like that. Just be a little bit patient. We have more lands than the opponent, and we're ahead on board. So see if this is a Lurrus here. No, it's a Grimflayer. Okay. Opponent only has 3 card types, so we can just pop the Grimflayer, which is kind of cool. We could theoretically do it in style. Now let's just do this. All right, Force Negation is probably not amazing right now. So we can Lurrus, Snapcaster, Bolt the opponent. Or no, we can't do that. We're 1 mana off that. So we've been 1 mana off that this whole time, and I'm just kind of talking out my butt. So we can Lurrus, Seal of Fire, though, which seems pretty good. So I guess we'll do that. So we'll play Lurrus. And then we will cast Seal of Fire, which will trigger the Sprite Dragon again. This is an Assassin's Trophy on the Lurrus. Okay. So that's fine-ish. We'll get another land here. Alright, the opponent is not going to do the Lurrus into the Seal of Fire, which is probably smart, I guess. I'm not particularly sure. Alright. Bauble's good. We'll take a look at what our opponent's drawing, because it can influence what we force a negation. It's a Grim Flayer. Alright. Opponent does have 4 card types now. They finally have an instant in their deck, but they are dead in 2 turns. And we can force... counter any removal spell on the Sprite Dragon, so I think this Sprite Dragon is going to lead us to victory here. Yeah, okay, opponent just concedes. Perfect. So they drew that. They can't beat this, and they can't beat the Seal of Fire in addition to it. So we drew Delver on top, which isn't a great draw, but it's fine. And our land heavy deck got there, and then also me not counting was how it worked out. All right, so Force Negation is really bad against Jund. We don't want to be like 1-for-1ing like that. It's generally pretty bad. So we want Fatal Pushes. Lavamancer's probably fine. Actually, Lavamancer's probably a little better than fine. Inquisitions and stuff are also bad because they're horrible top decks. So maybe we want to cut like these 7 cards here, and we want to bring in like Nile Spellbomb, Island, Grim Lavamancer, something like this, and cut these. The opponent actually isn't on Jund, they're on just black-green, but still the same principle applies, where we don't want to be doing that kind of thing. I guess the one thing that we could do is play another Grim Lavamancer over this island, but I think I just like playing the island. That's probably fine. This means that we have more keepable hands, because the games are going to go long. More keepable hands usually good against the deck that plays all the Inquisitions and stuff. We're definitely the control deck in this matchup. Yeah, this hand's great. It's got, reasonable numbers of lands and spells. Perfect. Oh, fast lands. All right. You got Hex Drinker. If the opponent tries to pop a bunch of mana into the Hex Drinker, we will be able to punish that. Because they can only pump it twice next turn, so that they can make it a, 1 off, and then we can bolt it. So we'll just get down our threat first. And if the opponent tries to Inquisition us, we don't have a good card to take here. Like, I guess they take the Sprite Dragon, but then we have just multiple pieces of removal. And we're not. We are concerned about our life total, but our opponent is more concerned about their life total than we are, because they're. Okay, so they are just going for it. They're just going to... Oh, no, okay, they're just doing 1 and a Nile Spellbomb, which is fine, sure. Yeah, they really care about their life total. Holy crap. All right. Opt is revealed. Yeah, we'll take that. We do have to leave up removal for the Hex Drinker, because otherwise the opponent will just tick it up and then... tick it up to 3 and then kill us with it. So I guess we need another black source. We need to get black-red here. Yeah. All right, so black-red. We will just play the Seal of Fire on board. And then I guess we'll set up our draw with this Serum Visions. Take Command's great. Grim Lavamancer is not great against the Nile Spellbomb, but it's probably pretty good overall. So we will bottom the mountain and top the Grim Lavamancer, I guess. Attack our opponent here. I'm not too worried about this Hex Drinker getting at us unless they try to level it up to 3. If they level it up to 3, then it's probably worth popping. But if they don't level it up to 3, then we probably don't have to worry about it. So I'm fine. We're winning this race right now. There's no reason to use our Seal of Fire, which is very solid right now. All right, a Tarmogoyf is potentially problematic, but I guess we'll just let it resolve for now. All right, and they are going to level up the Hex Drinker again, so that we still have 1 more before you need to worry about the Hex Drinker. So I think we're fine with that. All right, so we can go Sprite Dragon Opt here, and just try to race our opponent. Yeah, I kind of like this. So we'll go Sprite Dragon here. Then we'll opt. Do we want another basic land? We have all red spells in hand, so probably not. Alright, Serum Visions is probably better than that basic land anyway. And yeah, we can't profitably block this Tarmogoyf, so we will just race our opponent here. Opponent does not have a card in their yard yet, so this Nihil Spellbomb is actually pretty bad for them. I mean, Nihil Spellbomb, I guess, is never a bad card, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Alright, so they're going to level that up, so that means that we have to pop it with this Seal of Fire right now. Okay. So the Tarmogoyf is getting big now, but we are set up to really race them here. Our opponent's Nihil Spellbomb's pretty bad. If they play another like threat on the ground, this could get a little iffy. Are they play Lurrus? They're gonna play Maelstrom Pulse. Okay, so that's I guess fine. So we'll Serum Visions here. Bauble a Sprite Dragon on top. So we'll bottom. This is interesting. So we don't have a way to draw both of these cards this turn. And we really need to think about how we want to play this out. So we're going to attack our opponent down to 8 with this Insectile Aberration. And then we're going to play Grim Lavamancer, Serum Visions. So then this Polluted Delta could be lethal the next turn, because our opponent will go down to 5, and then we hit him with Bolt and Grim Lavamancer. So we definitely want this land. Now, do we want this Sprite Dragon? I think we have a winning hand without the Sprite Dragon, so we want to just top this. Play Grim Lavamancer. Play Serum Visions. We draw that. We have Spell Snare and Polluted Delta. Wow. Okay, so we're going to actually do this. We're going to put the Spell Snare on top. And then we're going to bauble our opponent here. Okay, so now we're going to draw that Spell Snare. So we have that. So we can counter something else that's big and scary. And our opponent is, I mean, they're not forced to pop this Nihil Spellbomb here, but things can get really bad for them if they don't pop it here. Alright, they have their own bauble. So they attack us for 6. And we're just going to take it, so that'll put us down to 4 here. Are they just going to play Lurrus here? Because I think they're just dead if they just play Lurrus here. So yeah, okay, they play Lurrus, and then what do? Are they just going to blow up the Spell Bomb? No. Alright, so we need to figure out what we want to play around here. Alright, they know what the card is on top. Alright, so do we want to play around Fatal Push? Do we have the ability to play around Fatal Push? Oh, okay, this is making it so much easier for us. Okay, so the answer appears to be no. So they're going to pop the Spell Bomb. They didn't pay. All right, that's interesting. So what is them not paying means they must have found a Fatal Push. So now how do we play around Fatal Push? So obviously we let this resolve. So they're going to go down to 7. All right, so let's assume their last card is Fatal Push, which is what makes the most sense here. So if we bolt them, they go down to 5. Then they Nurturing Peatland. Yeah, so I think we just have a winning line here between the Bolt and the Kolaghan's Command combined with the Grim Lavamancer. So we will go down to 1 here. We'll get our Steam Vents here. Yes. And then we will bolt the opponent. So now we have Grim Lavaman activation plus Kolaghan's Command. Okay, the opponent just concedes. So they don't even have the Fatal Push. Interesting. So we could have still beat them through Fatal Push because of the way they played this year, because they'd have to go down to 4 to Insectile Aberration, and then we just K-Command them and then Grim Lavamancer them for the kill. Really close there, 3-0. Feeling real happy here. I'm going to go get a glass of water. Actually, maybe I'll probably get myself an adult beverage. Let's be real here. And then I will be back for round. All right, we are 3-0. And we win the die roll. So now we're 2-2 on die rolls is good. So we're getting into like the real MTGO players. Like anytime you see a space between names, that means they've had this account for forever. Well, this is the first hand we've had that doesn't really do anything, but it's got a lot of lands and it's got, you know, enough spells to cast things. So I guess we'll keep it. What did they reveal? They revealed Lurrus. Yeah, okay. So anytime, you know, you got a Lurrus mirror, tend to like to keep it. We're in the part of, you know, the metagame here where I think, if I had to guess, I would say the opponent's probably on Burn or Jund with their Lurrus. Those are like the best decks. I'm going to start with our Painless Land because we're definitely opting here. Looks like the opponent's probably on Jund. It could be Burn. I mean, Burn plays fetches too. Alright, it's probably Jund. Probably Jund. We'll just let this resolve. If they want to take the opt here, it's better than, you know, us revealing our hand and showing something else. I mean, they should take the Snapcaster Mage here, because whatever they take, we can snap back. I mean, I guess they could take the Unearth, because Unearthing Snap is pretty good. I mean, sure, like... does Terminate suggest anything? It probably suggests that they're playing Goyf next turn, because we can't currently beat a Goyf, but we can beat a Goyf when we get to 3 mana. So I guess that's good to know. So our goal then is to get to 3 mana, because they're probably going to play Goyf next turn. Although Delver does Delver-y things. It's about as good of a race card as we got in this deck, especially 2 of them. All right, so we'll go get blue-black, and we'll double Delver. Opponent's already at 15. Like, yeah, sign me up. A couple of Delvers here. Make our opponent really wish they had Inquisition instead of Thoughtseize here, because I mean these Delvers can close the game real quick, especially with the Bolt. Like it's a turn 4 kill. I mean, if they're bolting Delvers, you know, there's a Seal of Fire, sure. Oh, that's it? Wow, 1 lander. All right. It's a bauble, so that's not great. I mean, we're definitely going to cast it, and we'll use the bauble trick, I guess, to try to flip our Delver. And I think even if our opponent is playing Jund Shadow, I think we still want to jam. I don't think the opponent would have kept a hand the way that they did. Maybe they... Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they are on a Shadow build, because maybe their plan here is to like Seal a Fire themselves and play a Shadow. We'll see. All right, they drew Bauble for the turn, so they're still stuck on 1 land. So we might be able to just capitalize on on them just having one land. Alright. They could have double removal spell too. So we will bauble ourselves. This is the fun Delver trick. It like finally popped up on like, you know, match number 4 here. So Scalding Tarn's on top. So we actually want to organize these triggers so that the Delver triggers go on the stack first and the bauble trigger goes yeah, they go on the stack and then resolve last. So this way we're drawing the Scalding Tarn here. And then these Delvers are now going to see a new card, which unfortunately is Darkslick Shores. But, you know, we tried. All right. So no on these. We will just go ahead and attack. Okay, the opponent is going to blow up one of them. So, sure, I guess. Oh, they're going to bolt both of them. Okay. This opponent's just going all out on that. So now we need to decide whether or not we want to, like, snap opt end of turn, or if we want to just, like, unearth one of them here, and then... the unearthing one is just such a... like, it's just so tempo negative. But so is, like, snap opting here is also pretty tempo negative. We could just play Lurrus. Yeah, I guess we'll just play Lurrus, right? Like, I want to use all of our mana. So there's Lurrus, and then we'll just bauble. I guess we'll see if our opponent is drawing a land. Opponent is not. Okay. So they did get one draw off the bauble, and they draw another bubble. All right, there's force negation. So we can force... I don't know what we'd force, though. See if they drew a land or not. They did draw a land, so here comes the Goyf, finally. Or I'm assuming here comes the Goyf. Obviously, it might not be the Goyf, but... But every turn this Lurrus sticks around, we're up cards, so that's good. Yeah. So I figured that they had Goyf from turn 1 based on how they took the Terminate, because the Terminate was the only card that didn't kill them there. Is this a Dismember? Yeah, I guess that's probably worth forcing. I mean, that's worth so many cards. Because now we just get to start playing the Delvers from the yard each turn. Another force? Alright. So this way we can just play Delver from the yard and hold up force. Yeah. Okay. If our opponent tries to kill the Lurrus again, then we just force it. Hard casting it this time. We did unfortunately have to pitch that Snapcaster Mage, but you know, this just keeps us ahead. If the opponent doesn't play a threat and doesn't kill the Lurrus here, we can, if we reveal a instant or sorcery, we just win the game. All right, so there's the Goyf. We kind of figured they had that. We'll leave this uncracked to get a little bit of a better judge with this Delver here. Serum Visions is great. That'll flip. And we probably want to draw it just because we can pitch the Force Negation to it. So we'll attack our opponent with this Insectile Aberration. And then we'll probably just play another Delver. I think just getting these Delvers on board is better than... is better than just drawing a random card. Because now our opponent's dead like a bunch of different ways, and we still have the Force Negation up, and we still have the Bolt up. So the opponent plays a fetch land, they're dead. If they don't remove these Delvers, they're dead. If they don't remove the Lurrus and the Delvers, they're dead. Like... Sure. Like, okay, they got another Tarmogoyf. That's fine. Okay, yeah, opponent just concedes. Perfect. All right. So this is like actual Jund. So the Force Negations are bad. The Inquisitions are bad. The Fatal Pushes are good because they got cards that we want to kill. The Culligan's Command's good. Nile Spellbombs are good. The Island's good. And the like Agrim Lavamancer's good. So we'll probably do these 7 for these 7 again. Cool. Seems pretty clear cut. It's almost like I built this deck with this matchup in mind. Actually, I just wanted to make sure we had 7 or more fair cards to bring in for decks like Humans and stuff. When I was originally playing this deck, I went with the Spell Snare versions. I had Spell Snares and Forces and Negations, so it was 7 total against Humans, and I had like 4 cards to bring in, and it was horrible. I was bringing in like, I think I brought in like 2 Collective Brutalities or something like that. Like obviously, like Grim Lavamancer was good. There was 2 of those to bring in, and the 2 Fatal Pushes, but that just cut my forces, and I still had all the Spell Snares and stuff. Oof, almost accidentally clicked no companion. Alright, so can we keep this hand against Jund? It doesn't really do anything, but at the same time, it lets us cast all of our spells eventually. And I think the answer is yes. We're going to keep this. I just don't like mulliganing in this matchup. I think that if the opponent's going to go like Spellbomb turn 1, our Spell Snare is probably going to be good. If they Thought Seize us, okay. So they are Shadow Jund. Interesting. Okay. I don't think that changes much about how we board, but I might want to revisit our boarding after this. Interesting. Okay. Well, we do have an answer for this Swift Spear. The question is whether or not we want to play it or try to get something with a Spell Snare this turn. I think we can make a determination based on what's on the top of our library here. It is another Bauble. So we can fetch away that Bauble, or we can just draw it. If we play Polluted Delta, we don't have to choose between the 2. This could be really risky. All right, this is like a super hedge. So we are going to draw this Bauble, and then we're just not going to make a determination on whether or not we need to bolt this Swift Spear until after the turn. So if the opponent goes like Thought Seize here, then we can, in response, bolt the Swift Spear. If they go like Goyf, we can just fetch and Spell Snare it. Oh, are they going to pitch a card? Please Collective Brutality, Escalate. Oh, this is like my kink. Look at that. Oh, no, they just chose 1. See, that's just unfortunate. All right, so now I think we are just going to get Steam Vents and bolt it, because then they take the Spell Snare, which is better than us Spell Snaring this and then still taking damage, I think. Is it? Yeah, probably is. All right, so we'll get Steam Vents or Basic. Yeah, we'll get Steam Vents. We can't get Basic Island. Then we can't cast the card that we want to. All right, so we bolt this. They take our Spell Snare. Okay. So now we can play Nile Spellbomb and hold up activation to make our opponent's Lurrus, if they play it, much, much worse. And meanwhile, our Lurrus will be good the turn after. Sorry if I'm making a lot of noise here with my adult beverage on that side. I should probably just move it to the other side. All right. So we're going to go Bauble, Dark Slick Shores, play Nile Spellbomb, and then we will definitely pass the turn here. We don't want to show, you know, another card here in hand in case they try to Thought Seize or something. All right, so they go and they shock. So they still can't play Death Shadow. So they might be kind of on the Lurrus plan here. We do, I guess, need to make a determination if we're popping this Nile Spellbomb at the end of the turn. We don't really have anything going on We're probably going to play Lurrus next turn. Does this just cast Lurrus? It has to be. I mean, it's 3 mana, right? Yeah, all right, so they're just casting Lurrus. So we will blow up their graveyard in response so they can't get this bauble. If they have another bauble in hand, then, I mean, sure, they got us, you know, like... We're drawing a lot of lands here. Take a look at the top of their library here. It is a... Lightning Bolt. Okay. So we need a removal spell. We have 2 looks at it. Into an opt. All right. Well, we can still find one. So we will opt into Sprite Dragon. Sprite Dragon's bad against Bolt. So we will bottom it. Find a Spell Snare, which is also not great. All right, we'll play Watery Grave tapped, and we'll pass the turn and just hope that this... I mean, our opponent's going to attack with a Lifelinker, which isn't very good in a Shadow deck, so I guess we got that going for us, right? Like, yeah, there's Seal of Fire. All right, so they got Seal of Fire and Bolt. They attack us, then their Death Shadows are worse. All right, they are just going to attack us, though. Interesting. All right. So, based on how our opponent's hand is, when we eventually play Lurrus, we're... Oh, and they're just going to play the Seal of Fire again. Okay, so they're just putting us on a clock of Seal of Fires. All right, so we do have to play the Lurrus just to disrupt the Seal of Fire play, probably. So, like, there's a Delver. So we can play Delver... Yeah, no, I mean, just a lot of this is just not a good winning position. So we can play our Lurrus here, and then we can play Bauble, and then we can Bauble ourselves to figure out whether or not we want to draw the card on top. But then our opponent just Seals of Fire this Lurrus, and we'll probably be going to game 3 here. Just drew, like way too many lands. I mean, obviously we did keep a what was it? We kept a 4-lander, and then I guess we draw... Yeah, we only drew 3 more. Snapcaster Mage. All right, so that's actually a really good one. And a way we could get back into this game. So it's probably just worth keeping, because all our opponent's doing is playing Seals of Fire over and over again, which is just damage. Like it's fine, but it's just damage. Sure. So we know the opponent has Bolt in hand, so we do need to keep that in mind. Our opponent's going to bring us down to 5 this turn. So we will fetch down to 6. We'll get a Blood Crypt tapped. All right, we drew another Delver here. All right, so we can go Snapcaster. Actually, we want to play this Mountain. So we'll go Snapcaster. Oh, wait. Oh, all right, well, kind of mistapped. All right, so we actually didn't want to tap the way that didn't want to play. Yeah, so this was a problem. I needed to tap this for blue. So we're not going to get to play as many Snapcaster Mages as I want to this turn. Or as many Delver of Secrets as I want to this turn. So we will get Lightning Bolt. Then we'll bolt this. And then I think we still are just going to pass the turn. We just need to hold up the Spell Snare. And playing Delver of Secrets into the Seal of Fire isn't very good anyway. And we almost don't want to put our opponent on a clock because they probably have Death Shadows in hand. Like, we want to almost get 20 damage worth of stuff going before we do anything. Which is kind of weird. But I think that's the position we're in now. What's 2 black mana? Oh, Dismember? Sure. Okay. Dismember with a Seal of Fire. Still on the battlefield. It's kind of funny. Alright. Opponent will pass. The Scalding Tarn we have in the is basically unplayable. So we can go red. Well, actually, I think we just want to play the Delvers this turn. So we know that they have Bolt in hand, so we can't. We know they have Bolt, and they've already played their Lurrus. All right, so we'll play 2 Delvers, and we'll play this Swamp here and pass. We can't play the Sprite Dragon, or we'd be vulnerable to a Tarmogoyf, and we just basically can't ever beat a Tarmogoyf in a billion years with the way that our hand is right now. We need to play around, the cards that beat us, and that's one of them. So this is Kolaghan's Command, deal us 2, and then they just bolt us, and then, yeah, so we're just dead. So we'll concede as soon as they show us this K command, because we can't beat it. I guess we could make our opponent do it. Like, it's a lot of resources, so they're going to return Lurrus, deal 2 damage to us. Okay. Okay, Swift Spear. We can beat that. I'm going to single block. If they double block it, it's just incentivizing them to bolt us. Or they could blow us out with the Seal of Fire. So I just wanted to play this kind of like we... Alright, so we'll reveal Fatal Push. That's fine. Then we'll go Sprite Dragon, Fatal Push the Monastery, Swift Spear. And then attack the opponent and hope that they just have to start spending their full spells on our creatures. I mean, we're so dead here, but like we just gotta... play it as if we have that Force Negation or something like that. Like, they saw the Force Negation. So they're going to bolt us. That's fine. See if they Seal of Fire us also. Yeah, okay, they do. All right. Cool. I had mentioned before we're into, like, the good players, and, it's a good play by a good player. All right, so... Against Death Shadow Jund, do we want to change anything up? We didn't see any graveyard hate at all, so maybe the Grim Lavamancer plan's a little better than I thought. But our opponent is on like Kolaghan's Command and stuff like that. We also still haven't seen a Death Shadow yet. So maybe I want to cut a Snare, because we were going to be on the play. Snare's Snare's good on the play, too. Snare's good just like all the time. But maybe 3 is too much. We'll just do 2, and we'll bring in a Grim Lavamancer, which is a more proactive threat. And it handles the Monastery Swift Spears pretty well. Alright, this hand is very good again in terms of having like lands and spells. It's got the multiple Mishra's Baubles, so we can bauble ourselves, see if we want to draw the top card. If not, we can Scalding Tarn it away. If we do, we can just play Steam Vents. Is a Seal of Fire. That seems fine, right? So yeah, we'll keep that, and we'll Serum Visions. So we'll draw the Seal of Fire, and then we're going to draw one of these 2 if we'd like. So we can put the like Delta on top. That's probably fine. Like, we will want a 3rd land at some point. All right, so we're setting our hand up for success here. We have a lot of removal. We are going to be reliant a little bit on Lurrus here. All right, so the opponent drew Fatal Push. All right, so we're definitely, you know, a little bit on like the Lurrus Unearth Lurrus type plan. Let's see, we have a pretty solid hand against Monastery Swift Spear. That's what our opponent's plan is. It's not great against Goyf, but that's all right. Okay, so our opponent's just playing Seal of Fire. So our opponent also has removal. So we have a couple of very removal-heavy hands. Kolaghan's Command is very good at like the turn 2 or the turn 3 Lurrus just to get something back. The opponent like Seal of Fires it, and then we K-Command it back type hands. Let's just play Polluted Delta, and we'll play our own Seal of Fire. Yeah, it's fine. This game is really stalling out, like really quickly. Like the opponent can't play a Death Shadow until it is an 8/8, or no, until it's a 7/7 because of Seal of Fire plus Lightning Bolt. And at that point, if we just put the Lightning Bolt and the Seal of Fire at their face, they're like almost dead. So it's actually like, I think it's pretty funny at least how like the juxtaposition of that, I guess. So we could play Sprite Dragon. Oh, we just drew K-Command. Yeah, all right. So if we just drew K-Command, then I'm definitely just going to play out the Sprite Dragon here. And if the opponent wants to either Fatal Push it or Seal of Fire it, that's fine, because we can get it back. The opponent's down to 14, and we've got, you know, Snapcaster Mages, Bolts, K-Commands in this deck. Okay. Alright, the opponent's just taking it. So they are on the Shadow plan. But they can't play the Shadow until the Shadow basically kills them. So that's funny. Oh, they're just going to push it after combat? Okay. Okay. So they wanted us to deal 1 more damage to... Alright. Well, anyway. They must have, like, multiple shadows. That's the only thing I can think of here. What? What would Seal of Fire me be? Maybe they meant to click on the Verdant Catacombs, but you gotta click a turret. You can't just click Seal of Fire. Oh, they wanted to get another card type in the yard. Wild. Okay. And then they're not playing it. Wow, this is weird. Alright, I'm going to get a black source, I guess. I think I'm just not going to do anything. I have this K command. I can just K command at the end of the turn here. They probably have, like... Honestly, I don't even really know. So that was like a 2-for-1 to get this traverse. So like, yeah, this is fine. Sure, we'll take damage with the Swift Spear. I think, right? We'll go down to 13 here, and then at the end of the turn we can just pop it. What card could they have that's an instant that does something here? Like we can K command, make them discard, play the... Okay. Yeah, so we'll return this and shock that. They could have Veil of Summer. Is that the card that we have to play around here? Oh, it probably is, isn't it? Is there a way we can play around that? All right, so let's assume our opponent has Veil of Summer, and that's the card that beats us here. We could do a few things. We could first do nothing. We could just bolt the Monastery Swift Spear. We could just Seal the Fire the Monastery Swift Spear. We could bolt the Death Shadow, make them fetch, and then just Seal the Fire it in response. Actually, I like that a lot. So if we bolt this Death Shadow, they would have to fetch just to make it survive. Yeah, they'd have to fetch just to make it survive, and then they'd still be dead to the Seal of Fire. So they'd have to take a bunch of damage for no reason, basically. They could just let it resolve, but it's like the same as bolting them that way. So yeah, let's just do that. So we'll bolt this Shadow. So the biggest they could make it is a 5/5 here. And then the Seal of Fire just finishes it off. See if they get a green source here. If they get a green source here, that means they're holding up Veil of Summer. No, so they're not getting a green source here, which means that we're fine to just blast off on the... So if they bolt themselves here, then that's still a positive interaction for us. Okay, so now do we just push the Swift Spear? Probably not, right? All right, so we successfully played around a card that they could have, but they didn't appear to have it. So now do we just Sprite Dragon attack? And then they could play like Lurrus or something, and then we kill the Lurrus. Should have tapped differently. I don't think we were pushing anything this turn anyway, because we couldn't push Lurrus. Alright, they have a Fatal Push, okay. Man, this is close. Alright, so I definitely should have tapped differently here. I think we're not going to get punished for it, though, but we might. We'll see. Alright, so this is Lurrus, but it doesn't do anything. They must have all reactive cards in their hand. So if they have all reactive cards in their hand, how do we play this? Yeah, so there's Lurrus. Okay. Alright. So I guess our best draw would be a fetch land or a bauble here. Okay, so that's not either of those things. So we can make them discard and deal 2 damage to the Lurrus. We can return the Sprite Dragon, deal 2 damage to the Lurrus. I think I like that. So we'll return... Return target card from a graveyard to your hand, deals 2 damage to any target. So we'll return this to the hand, deal 2 damage to the Lurrus. I can't tap my lands properly either. If they've had a Goyf and they've been playing around the Spell Snare, that's just like good for them. They've played this very well. They probably also have a K command. That's my guess, is that they have K command to make us discard and return the Lurrus. And we'll just discard the Spell Snare. No, they did have the Goyf. Okay, so they've been playing around Spell Snare, but we do have the Fatal Push, so that's good. And they have Shadow. Okay, well, this could get a little hairy here. So we can go Sprite Dragon, Fatal Push the Death Shadow, attack our opponent for 2, they go down to 6, hold up Spell Snare. Then next turn, we can go Lurrus, Seal of Fire, deal you 2, which would put you down to 4. And then that's still only 3 spells on the Sprite Dragon. Unless we cast the Spell Snare. So if we can convert the Spell Snare, or the Spell Snare, then we would win. So we go blue, red. Yeah, there's nothing else that we can really do this turn. I guess we could play Lurrus, but then we could play Lurrus, Bauble, push something, take a lot of damage. That doesn't seem very good. I think we got to push our advantage here while we can. All right, so we'll do this. And then we got to push. This will be a little bit bigger than the other one. So we'll push this. And this way we can still beat like Teamer Battle Rage. As well as a few other cards. Like a Bolt Off the Top is winning. All right, so they go down to 6 here. Another Shadow, okay. So we can win with a Bolt. We could also win with a basic land, I think. Interesting. This is a really close spot. So an Opt. Does an Opt drastically change anything for us? So if we go Lurrus, Seal of Fire, that's 3, and then we're 1 off. So if we opt into a land here, we can win, assuming they don't have anything. Or if we opt into a Bolt here, we can win. If we opt into an Opt. So if we bottom this... Yeah, I think we still got to bottom this. So if we top this, then we got to draw into another cantrip or a Bolt. So we bottom this. Okay, so we draw... Yeah, we draw a land, so we can go down to 3. If our opponent has Bolt, we're dead, but we just had to do this anyway. They probably should have done it in response. Alright, so we can get Swamp. Then we go Swamp, Swamp, Swamp. Cast Lurrus. Cast Seal of Fire. Wow. I have no idea what the opponent could have had in hand, but that... So we had to play to our out, which was just going for it. And it worked. Oof. Let me know how you would have played that, because there's a few other lines we could have taken there. But I think I think this is the one that, like, they just played a lot of stuff last turn. I don't know what their other 2 cards could have been in hand. Maybe they were like fetch lands or something, and they just didn't want to play them out because it must have been that, like fetch lands or Veil of Summer or like another Tarmogoyf. It could have been like another Tarmogoyf and a fetch land. Wow. All right, 4-0, going for the trophy. Let's do it. All right, everyone, welcome to the 5th and final match. We are still going for this trophy here. I'm excited. Hopefully you are too. This hand's really good if we draw a second land. It's got double Delver. We can pitch a Delver to a Force Negation turn 1 or turn 2 or whenever we need to. So I'm going to keep this hand. This might be the first time we get a little mana screwed this whole league, which is kind of funny for a 19 land deck that we haven't really gotten mana screwed like at all. But, there's another, we're 4-1. So it's a good read, but I haven't really been like, we need a land, like really desperately. It's been, one of those where it's, it would be nice to get a land. All right, so do we just force something here? Yeah, like based on how this hand is so if we like pitch Sprite Dragon here, we're actually probably doing pretty fine. Yeah, let's do that. We're just going to go really aggressive here. We're just going to pitch that. We're going to try to keep them off Tron. We're going to use our Bauble to hopefully flip this Delver. It's going to be great. So we're going to play this Delver. We're going to play this Mishra's Bauble. We're going to pass, and we're going to hope to flip this Delver. And then we're going to be really sad when the opponent just goes land, Chalice of the Void. Yeah, so it is Eldrazi Tron. All right, well, they're playing just a 3-mana. Yeah, so Matter Reshaper is a horrible Magic card, especially against us. All right, so we reveal Delver of Secrets on top. So we need, yeah, we're gonna need a little bit of help here now. All right, so we are going to put the Delver trigger on the bottom, Bauble trigger first. So we will draw this card, which is Delver, and then we will try to flip the Delver. Honestly, I wouldn't be upset if this is a land here. If it's not a land, I want it to be opt. Opponent's down to just 3 cards in hand. Alright, so there's that. Now reveal opt. Come on. Let's get lucky here. Reveal opt. Reveal Polluted Delta. Okay, so we're not going to get to flip the Delver here, but we will get to play 2 more Delvers. So let's do that. So we're going to get Steam Vents. Yeah, Steam Vents. It's the only one that lets us really cast these cards. And then we're going to go Delver and Delver. And then if the card on top is bad, we can use Unearth to cycle it to hopefully flip the other 2 Delvers. Oh, the opponent doesn't have another land. Maybe we mana screwed the Eldrazi Tron deck. Yeah. All right. So the first trigger goes on the stack, and we reveal Spirebluff Canal. So we don't want to reveal that, but we do want to cycle this because we really want to hit the other ones. So we draw the Spirebluff Canal, and then we reveal Polluted Delta. No. Okay. And no. All right. Well, that's not good. I think the opponent would have cast any spell. So this Inquisition actually does nothing here. So we will just attack with these Delvers and pass the turn. Next turn, we can try to play the Lurrus. Missed another land drop. All right, so our Force is doing well here. We possibly shouldn't have flipped the Unearth there this last time, but I just wanted to see if that plan would work. All right, so let's see what we reveal here. We reveal a Inquisition. Yeah, all right. Flip these Delvers. Let's go. Opponent conceding to a Inquisition of Kozilek. Yeah, all right. Flip these Delvers. All right. Opponent's on a 2-turn clock. Let's attack with 3 Delvers. It took a while to flip them, but... All right, does opponent have a Dismember? All right, so we probably should have Inquisition the last turn. Well, I guess then they were going to dismember one of them, and yeah, all right. So anyway, so this kind of happens. So they're going to take 6 here. Are they going to dismember another one? Do they have 2 dismembers? No. Okay. If they dismember the Lurrus, then they're probably just dead. So, I mean, we're going to play the Lurrus here. Or fetch for basic swamp and play Lurrus. All right, and then we will play the Bauble because we unfortunately can't play this untapped. And then we'll just wait because even if we draw a Force here, it doesn't do anything. And this way they can't attack with the Mishra or the Matter Reshaper. Okay, cool. So the opponent just concedes they didn't draw another land. So we forced their only way to find a land, and then yeah, that worked out. All right, cool. So forcing worked well in that game, which was wild. All right. So anyway, the last time we played this, we cut a couple of bolts because they just weren't ideal. There's also a Seal of Fire here at the bottom somewhere. All right, so we cut the bolts of the Seal of Fire. We brought in K Command and the Island and a Fatal Push, I believe. That was our board plan. And I think that probably still fine here. So we'll just cut just a little bit of that and bring in this. And we'll see how that goes. So we're still maintaining the same number of spells in the deck. That's kind of funny that the Force plan there worked. But anyway. All right. So close to this 5-0 here. Be nice to finish it out. This hand has the Spell Snare, so we're going to keep it. It's lacking threats and it's lacking lands, but we have a bunch of cantrips for it. If the opponent goes into a Chalice of the Void, which seems, really strong against us, we can Spell Snare it. If not, we can... or we can just Inquisition here. Nah, I think we got to... Because we still want to just opt here anyway. So we either want to Spell Snare or opt here. Like, if we Inquisition there and they have, 2 Chalices, we just lose. If we... Inquisition there and we take something else, then we can't cast any of our blue spells, and we have mostly blue spells here, so we do want to maximize our ability to play the blue spells. Alright, so opponent's not doing anything, which is pretty good, I guess. So we'll opt. Delver. Okay, so we can go Blood Crypt, and then we can play the Delver. I mean, this is still not particularly a winning line here, but we can go Inquisition to hopefully take something while the opponent's planning on using their Expedition maps. Yeah, okay, so they're just going to F6 here. Oh no, they're just going to Warping Wail that. Okay. So we still can't beat Chalice, but I think they would have just jammed the Chalice, right? Or maybe they're just playing around Spell Snare. All right. We're gonna, if they seemed really intent on countering that Inquisition, which leads me to believe that they have to have Chalice of the Void here. So we're gonna play around it because, I mean, the way that they've played this is just, they just have, yeah, that's not great. Okay, well, we're gonna use our mana because we need to find specific answers to it. So we're gonna opt because they'll just take the opt otherwise. All right. Maybe Warping Wail must have just been their only card that we could have taken there. That's the only thing it could have been. So I guess our opponent did outplay us there a little bit. We could have had a Delver on board instead of our Delver just being exiled like that. But I don't know how big of a deal that is. So we can go Serum Visions here into another Serum Visions. There's K Command. Oh, there's a Bauble. All right, so Bauble's good. K Command doesn't kill a Thought-Knot Seer. We have Fatal Pushes in the deck, so we will just bottom these, I guess. And then we'll go into another Serum Visions. There's the Inquisition. Snapcaster is fine because Snap Bolt can kill it, so we'll do that. Shock. And I guess cast this Inquisition because it's in our hand and it's not doing anything else. All right, so they do have another Thought-Knot Seer, and we're probably just dead. But Yeah. All right. Okay, so the opponent's just going to get an Eldrazi Temple, so that way they can cast. Yeah, so they play that. So now they're going to play Thought-Knot Seer here. Yeah. All right. And their top card is going to be a what? Another Karn. All right. All right, so we have Snapcaster on top. We know that their hand is double Karn. I think we can just concede, right? Like, we don't even want to show them the Snapcaster. We can't beat one Thought-Knot Seer, let alone, like, two Thought-Knot Seers. So we're going to draw... I guess if we draw Fatal Push here, maybe I don't concede. We're going to get Snapcaster and a random. A fetch land. So we can go Lurrus, Bauble, pass. All right. I guess we're going to go Lurrus, Bauble, pass. All right, so here's the Bauble. We'll Bauble ourselves. It is an Opt. All right, actually, I think we will keep the Opt. All right, so here comes the Karn. Sure. But what's the Karn going to get? That's the question. So, like, the Karn doesn't really get anything here. I mean, the opponent can attack us for 8. We'll gain 3 of it back. And then the Karn dies, so I guess they can only attack with like one Thought-Knot Seer here. I mean, there are lines that get us back in this game. I can't really like... Oh, they just get a Tormod's Crypt? Sure, okay. It's fine, yeah. Oh, they're just going to blow it now. Sure, okay. Makes it a little bit easier to figure out what we should get and what we shouldn't get. So opponent will... They're attacking with both. Oh, because we know that they have another Karn in their hand. Alright. Oh. Alright, so we'll get Island. Opt. We don't want that. Polluted Delta, okay. So on the positive side, the way that we get back in this game is that we use our Snapcaster mages to block these Thought-Knot Seers, and then we continuously recast the Snapcaster mages like over and over again. It's kind of funny, honestly. Like it's a loop that this deck sometimes shows. It hasn't showed it recently, obviously. I mean, like it's not nothing here. Like. All right, so we'll play the fetch land because this still gives us the option or the ability to Fatal Push, so that's good. All right, so we're killing that. I think the opponent is supposed to main phase this Karn. We can't count. Well, we could snap opt. Snapped opt looking for force negation. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what we're doing here is we're going to snap opt looking for force negation. That's not a force negation. Oh, there's a force negation. Okay. Well, there's our line. All right, so we'll block with a Snapcaster Mage. And then we'll fetch here. Just get like, yeah, I don't know, some random land. I guess it should produce black mana. So we'll get that one. And then we can Snapcaster Force a negation, theoretically. Oh, there's bobble. Oh, sweet. All right. So we can bobble our opponent, figure out what we need to play around. Is a power plant. All right. We can just K command now to make our opponent discard, and we can just Snapcaster. We can just cast the Snapcaster Mage. We can block a Thought-Knot Seer and shock them. Yeah, there's a lot of lines here. Huh. I think the Kolaghan's command, make them discard, return Snapcaster Mage line here, play Bauble, gets us the furthest ahead. So we will return... Oh, wait, no, we want to discard. So we want to return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Target player discards card. So we'll return this, you discard. And we go red, black, this. So we return that. Our opponent discards. We know they're drawing Power Plant. Okay, it was a Simian Spirit Guide. Wow. All right, so they're playing like a really aggressive Tron. All right, so we will then bobble ourselves, because we're going to get to draw another card here. Is a Sprite Dragon. Okay. And then we get to attack with this Lurrus. And then we get to chump block with the Snapcaster Mage. Because we know what they're drawing. We'll just choose the Force Negation, I guess. Doesn't really matter. All right, and then we'll block. All right, so we just need to keep our opponent from drawing off the top, and we also need answers for these stupid Thought-Knot Seers, and we're just not getting any help. All right, so we can play Sprite Dragon and Bauble, or we can just... The K command, I guess, doesn't really do anything. So we can just do Sprite Dragon Bauble this turn, block, and just hope they don't top deck. It's probably our best bet. Because we can only cast it during our turn, right? During each of your turns. Yeah, all right. So we'll do Sprite Dragon, blue. So we'll play that. And then we'll do... Well, I guess we could do Snapcaster Mage, Kolaghan's... No, we can't even do that. All right, so we'll just do that. We will take a look at the top of their library and see what it is. It is a Karn. Okay. Is there a way we can beat a Karn? Not really. Play this. I guess, I mean, we could draw, like, you know, Force Negation again. That worked the last time. So, yeah, we gotta draw exactly Force Negation. We got one draw at it. Or, no, Snapcaster Mage. Oh, Snapcaster Mage does it too. Okay, so we have Force Negation, Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, that Delver's not it. All right, so we'll see if they cast it. But, yeah, we're just dead. Well, I guess we're just dead. There's certain cards they could get here that would not kill us. We'll see. All right, so they're going to attack us. We block. Oh, we can beat Walking Ballista. If they try to get Walking Ballista here, we can Spell Snare it. Please get Walking Ballista here. Oh, you get a Relic. Yeah, that was smart. Okay. All right. So now we're significantly less likely to... All right. There's draw step. Go to main phase. They're going to pop it. No, they just didn't. Oh, sweet. So we can play Snapcaster Mage. Well, then we at least don't die. We can play Sprite Dragon. Snapcaster Mage is probably the best because then we have more things that we can draw here that are good. So we'll play Snapcaster Mage. We will target Kolaghan's Command. Okay, now the opponent is... The order of that was just so weird. All right, so they pop that. We play Delver. And then we kill the Karn and just hope they continue to not top deck. Like, we have to kill the Karn because otherwise you just get Walking Ballista and kill us. All right. So now we need to double chump and then hope that one of these cards is good. Oh, that's good. Spatial Contortion, we can actually counter. That's... All right. Stuff's kind of coming up okay. All right. So we can block. Does going to 3 here matter? I guess it kind of does. All right. Another Snapcaster Mage. All right. So we can just play Delver and attack for 3. Yeah, we'll just play Delver and attack for 3. Another land, all right. So the opponent's trading... Oh, they're just attacking with 1 now. All right, so we will just take 1 then. That's perfectly fine. Wow, all right. We haven't, like, stabilized, because we've been breaking a lot here also, but we need to draw, like, a Fatal Push here. Swamp. So, no... And then we're going to fetch because we don't want to draw that swamp. We're actually just going to pick up that swamp, I think. It's going to be our plan. Oh, no, we can't. Okay, so we're going to get Mountain, I guess. We draw Serum Visions. Okay, so Serum Visions is actually really good because then we get to use that Snapcaster Mage to cast it again. Nice. All right, so this is good. We put this on the bottom, this on the top. Then we're going to cast this Snapcaster Mage. And then we're going to cast this Serum Visions here again. Opponent's been bricking a lot too. I do feel bad for them. All right, there is a Terminate on top, which is wonderful. So we're going to bottom that. We're going to top this Terminate. Then we're going to Serum Visions here. Draw the Terminate. Bottom 2 lands. Cast the Mishra's Bauble. Cast the Terminate. Oh, we need to go red-black. So go red, black. Oh, Force of Negation? All right. Definitely count me in. All right, and then we will attack, I guess, with both. Yeah, mine is... Well, actually, let's... we should have seen what our opponent is going to draw. All right, we're just going to hold back on this Delver, I think. So this will put him to 8, 3, 5. Yeah, all right. So we'll just attack with this. This can beat... Yeah, so this beats Reality Smasher, this line. Okay, so... That was smart. So now we'll see what they're drawing. They're drawing a Karn, and we have a Force for it. Oh my gosh, our opponent's going to be so mad. Oh my gosh. All right. I think our opponent's going to concede here. I'm so excited for this.
Did we win? No. Okay, they're still gonna play. Our opponent is dead to a flip, I think. They just need to leave it back. All right, so our opponent is dead to a flip. Wow, our opponent bricked so hard, and we drew absolutely perfect. And we played that, like, absolutely perfect, too, I think. I don't know, let me know if I missed, like, an obvious line. All right, of course we didn't flip, because this deck is being difficult. So we get a free bauble. Let's see what the free bauble says. All right, what is our opponent drawing? Because this can give us a, like, how aggressive we want to be. Our opponent is drawing a tower, so that means we can just snap, terminate it, and then the game's going to be over. This is great. So they're just drawing a tower here. Man, I cannot believe how well this has gone. All right. Red and black. Was this the game where I just said I think we can concede from this point? Like, there's just no way we're winning. All right, so this is 3, 4, 5, 6. So this Sprite Dragon actually doesn't do anything other than, well, I guess it blocks, so it's probably worth playing then. Doesn't matter, but Lurrus is a very good card. So Lurrus just beat a Eldrazi deck from just like an absolutely unbelievably bad position for us. Nice. Trophy time with my Grixis Delver list. I do hope that this variation of the list gets published. That would be kind of wonderful. And would be very excited to see, to see that up there. Oh, opponent says good deck. I'll say thanks. But yeah, it seemed very strong. The Force Negations were very good against all of the decks that were not Jund, and the Jund list was, I mean, I guess we beat it, a couple of times there. So everything went really well. Let me know if you like this list, and other ones like it, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. I'm just a little, there's a lot of magic with a lot of tight lines there, but thanks for putting up with me. Hope the quality of the video was good. I try to always play my best. Let me know where I'm wrong, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.